Welcome back, everyone, to podcast number 3, Super Fast Edition. We're doing this very fast by now, so let's get straight to the news. Oh wait, I nearly forgot to introduce myself. See, this is fast, man. Okay, I'm John S, and this is Ericyo.
Hello.
And we're here talking about the news now. So let's start with one of the biggest rumors now. Paper Mario for Wii U, the rumor. You heard about this, right?
Yeah, I did hear about it, but obviously there's not a lot. I think there's not a lot of solid confirmation on this so far, is there?
No, there isn't. It was just only a tweet from a person who seems to be very reliable when it comes to this kind of stuff. So,
What did he say exactly, or if anything?
only that it's being worked on the game. There hasn't been really been too much to be said.
Uh-huh. Now, are you a pretty good Paper Mario fan, or?
Yeah, anything that doesn't have nothing to do with Paper Jam.
Now, is it supposed to be?
No, wait.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no. Why does it Paper Jam? Sticker Star. There you go.
Oh, Sticker Star. Yeah, that
Yes.
was the. I was like, wait, what? But yeah, I've heard. Obviously, there's rumors about it, but do you really think this is going to be a Wii U game, or are they looking at it being more of a NX game? Obviously, since they need to start working on NX games here soon.
Well, the rumor itself says Wii U. I would love it to be on the NX, but I think it would be a good idea, like, to end the series, like, end the Wii U with kind of a high note. I don't know, a little divided on that end.
Right, so am I. Because obviously, me and you both have a Wii U already, so that would be awesome if it came out on the Wii U. But at the same time, if it comes on the NX, I would say that's a good launch title for the NX.
Yeah, but in the moment right now, we really don't know much about it. I suppose that what we both want is the Paper Mario that sticks more closely to the formula from the 64 and GameCube eras.
I 100% agree with you on that. I've loved the older versions of it. I'm not too much fond of these new ones, like Sticker Star, for example. I wasn't too much of a big fan. I actually didn't even beat that game because I got so bored of it.
You remember I actually defended that game for a little bit.
Yeah, you did. I remember that too.
And then as I kept going through, I started discovering how... Oh, God.
It was just horrible.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. And that's the reason I got it too. I bought it first day, and then I started playing it. And unfortunately, it was just not something that I was very happy with. I don't even know how far I got because that's how bored I got with it.
And I feel really bad because Miyamoto, it was his idea. He thought it would work.
Yeah. I mean, he thought well, but I know he meant well too, right? But it's just it wasn't to its core roots, and I felt like they were trying to try something new, and it just didn't work.
Well, I guess even Miyamoto can't be always great.
No, unfortunately not. Sorry, Miyamoto.
But you know what he's great at?
What's that?
Making the side-scroller Marios, like Super Mario Bros. 3.
Oh, that's true. That's very true.
Which, speaking of, the Virtual Console release of Super Mario Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3 came out on the Wii U, the Virtual Console.
That's pretty cool. Are you gonna pick this one up?
I will soon, because this one came not only with that game, but it has all of the stages that came with the e-reader cards that are all unlocked. All of them.
Now, how many were those? I think it's 32, 36 or something like that.
Around
stages?
around that many, yes.
Yeah, I started watching some videos online about this, and it's just awesome to see, a lot of, because the levels have all these mix and match from all the other games. Like, all of a sudden you can get the Mario Cave from Super Mario World in one of the stages. So seeing stuff like that, I think that makes it very, very cool.
Yes. You also get stuff from Super Mario Bros. Too. Well,
Right, yeah.
like you can grab vegetables on the ground, which is actually really weird.
Yeah, it is. Seeing the Super Mario 3 play style incorporated into Super Mario Brothers 2 and 3, or excuse me, and Super Mario World. But I think it's cool, man, including, I don't know if you saw any of the videos, but it's got some of the bad guys on there too from different games.
I saw the stage for Super Mario Bros. 2. I try not to watch anything else because I want to experience this fresh.
Oh, you're going to have an awesome time then. I've seen a few videos, but I just skimmed through them, just like you, so I can avoid spoilers on it. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to try that out. I think I'm going to pick this one up too.
So am I. So that's out already, so you have around $7.99, go pick it up.
Yeah, it's well worth the money.
And a bit of a sad news, well, not completely unexpected, but Mighty Number 9 was delayed again.
Again, after all that hype, but maybe it's for the best. They might just be working on it to where they're gonna go ahead and get it to near perfection level.
Well, what this specified was that it was network issues.
Network issues, huh? Oh, okay.
Yes, because the game's gonna have some sort of co-op, but it's going to be on every version, like Wii U, PS4. I'm guessing it's coming out for PS3 and the 360 and Xbox One.
See, then that makes me feel like it's gonna be okay because, first of all, you already know that I like to play co-op games. I love co-op games, and if it's gonna be one of those games where it's gonna be very janky, to play with someone else online, then I'd rather wait. I'll wait until it comes out and it's perfected for co-op online, and it'll make it a lot funner that way.
Yeah, and that's a fair thing. It's just that people have not been taken very nicely with the delay.
I'm sure they haven't. It's been out there for a while since the Kickstarter, and everybody was super psyched, especially being that it's a successor to Mega Man, and or spiritual successor, I should say. A lot of people are super stoked and excited for this game, and any little delay right now is going to go ahead and have that fan base raging. But at the same time, personally speaking, I'll wait.
I haven't really played the game at all, obviously, because there hasn't even been a demo, has it?
No, not that I'm aware of. Absolutely not. If there is, I should go look at it right now.
Like, I've been ignoring the game for the most part. Again,
me too.
Because there hasn't really been anything to check out on my own.
Right.
But I really want to try it out. I want to give it a fair chance,
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that.
So, that game's now going to be releasing around spring. So...
See, that's not that far. It's right around the corner then.
So. Well, think about this. The game has been delayed pretty much a whole year now.
I know, but what's another couple of months at this point?
Yeah. Well, I can see why. It all started with that Red Ash thing.
Right.
That it was the Kickstarter, like it ended and then the game was delayed.
Right, exactly.
So, there's some trust issues in there. Let's just say, Funny didn't handle this very, very well.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's going to be worth the wait, and once the game comes out, I really expect this game to do really good.
Well, I can only hope so.
Mm-hmm. Are you going to pick it up day one, or are you going to wait up a little while to get the reviews in, or?
I'm going to wait for the reviews.
Yeah, I think I might just pick this one up. I can't, just from the, the snippet trailers that I've seen here and there, it looks really good. And then if there's going to be co-op involved in this, then I'm going to be pretty excited for that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of, well, not really, but another one of those games that I want to try out is like Shovel Knight. I like these indie games that have been coming out, and these indie developers are doing really, really good.
You should try it out. Like, Shovel Knight's fun.
Yeah, I want to try Shovel Knight, but again, it's one of those games that I want to try with co-op. So maybe one of those games that I'll record and me and my brother can play or something like that.
That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of older games, that was a horrible segue, but I'm going with it.
Yeah, go for it, man. Ride it out.
Sega Classics 3D. It's not the right title, but basically it's gonna be a release of Sega Classics, but using the Nintendo 3DS. It's gonna have a physical release.
A physical release, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
According to the list, it's going to have a few games that were not released on the eShop. As you know, there were games like Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and 3, I believe.
Yeah,
in 3D.
the popular ones.
Yes. It's gonna be releasing with games called like Power Drift, Puyo Puyo, which is that one puzzle game, Maze Walker, Fantasy Zone, and it's going to come up with games like Fantasy Zone 2, Sonic the Hedgehog, Thunderblade, Galaxy Force, and Alter Beast, which is pretty much one of the few games that I still remember from the Sega.
Man, I honestly, the only ones that I know that you just mentioned that I can at least remember from right now is going to go ahead and be Sonic the Hedgehog and Altered Beast. But aside from that, I've really never even heard of the other one. Oh, and Puyo Puyo. I've heard of that one too, but yeah, I've never even played the other ones, to be honest with you.
To be fair, Puyo Puyo alone could be said to be the one game you could pick up this for.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Sonic you can pretty much have anywhere in every, on every console at this point. So Sonic's really not just there for that image, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like 9 games for $30, which factoring in the prices for every other game separately on the eShop, it's kind of a bargain.
Yeah, it's worth the pickup. Let's put it that way.
Yep. Now I wonder if it's gonna be released like on the eShop in the full
Uh,
package.
no, that's a good question because why would they release this in the physical manner instead of a digital release? You would think they would save the money instead and just release it as a digital, but maybe it's for those unsuspecting parents that want to pick up cheap games for their younger children.
Probably. I hope they're good ports at least.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving from this news, we're gonna go to something more modern and more rumor based, as seems to be the thing nowadays.
Right.
It's another rumor about the NX. Uh,
So what do we hear now?
so in this case, the rumor is that it's gonna be released in 2 parts. You know by now that there's been rumors that the NX is gonna be 2 parts, like console and sort of a handheld device.
Right.
So the rumor is that the handheld device is releasing this year, and the console itself is in 2017.
Wait a second. So what I'm hearing then is that they're going to be sold separately then, not in one big console.
Yes,
or
that
big
is
package.
yes, that is the rumor.
Huh. That is very interesting. I've not heard this rumor yet, so this is news to me right now.
Now, there's also been other rumors. I'll companion. There's been like the resolution of how what's the resolution of the games? It's
Right.
900p. Like the resolution when watching videos, like, which is up to 4K, stuff like that.
Right. I am very intrigued by this now because that's just. I mean, so is this going to be a handheld? And obviously you said possible mobile support, right? So if it's going to have mobile support, I mean, is this going to work on Wi-Fi and have kind of its own operating system where you can download apps, or is this going to be a phone? I mean, what exactly is this going to be then now?
Well, the handheld device apparently is going to be able to connect with mobile devices.
Wirelessly? I'm assuming by Bluetooth or.
Well, nothing was specified. Again, this is just the rumor itself. It's going to be able to connect with that kind of stuff. Just they even said like with PS4s.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing that part. Yeah, so so that's very interesting to be able to connect something to a Sony product like that. So,
Like,
um,
I honestly have no idea what this could be. It's just a huge thing.
yeah,
If
me
it
and you
turns out
both
true.
right now, we're both very lost out on this, and really, again, the only way we're gonna ever know any kind of solid information on this is gonna be during E3. Which, as you can imagine, we're going to be very busy talking about a lot of games during E3.
Oh man, yeah, there's gonna be a long video.
Oh man, that's going to be a lot of stuff that we're going to have to talk about there. But yeah, that's very interesting rumors that are being said now, especially because the console. I mean, that's going to be very odd to release one part. It's like releasing half a console. You know, it's like if you got the Wii remote one, the first part, and then you got the rest of the Wii the next year. You know, it's just I don't know about it.
Well, it's just a big of a mess. I just want to show us something about the NX, please.
Anything.
I just
Just give
very
us a little bit of something.
yeah, I'm just very anxious about it.
Yeah. So is this something that you're thinking? I mean, so far that you're thinking of picking up?
Yeah, I'm picking it up. Hopefully,
Hopefully, right?
hopefully it's
Well,
not too expensive.
I guess that's one way to look at it, right? It's gonna be released in 2 parts. So if it's released in 2 parts, then we'll have enough money to go ahead and buy the first part and not have to destroy our wallets. So by the second part coming out, we'll be able to go ahead and recuperate from the first part.
Man, my wallet's already destroyed when I bought the Final Fantasy Explorers, which by the way came out today.
Oh, yes, and you were pretty. Well, let me put it this way: you were very excited about me getting it one day early, weren't you?
Yes, I still don't know how you did that.
I don't know, man. I just ordered it out on Amazon, and I didn't I didn't expect it to come in until today, and then I looked in the mail, and there it was yesterday. So, but guess what? I haven't started it, so at least we'll be able to start at the same time. Have you started it already?
No, I might go in just to check out the tutorial and whatnot and just stop right there.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go ahead and do too. It's just because I've been a little busy lately, so I haven't had the time to even start it. But I think I'll watch the tutorial as well.
Okay, good. So, speaking of releases, have you played Bravely Default?
Ah, man, I tried it. I could not get into that game, and I'm a huge RPG fan, but I just could not get into the first one. I tried it.
Well, honestly, not. I wasn't a huge fan of the demo. I really need to try Bravely Default because Bravely Second is going to come out very soon, April 19th. I mean,
Oh,
it's not that soon, but it's relatively sooner than I expected it to.
hey, man, it's right around the corner. But I just like you, I think I tried the demo out first, and I was not impressed. I just was not that impressed. And I'm a huge RPG fan, but I just could not get into it. But I guess it's very popular if it's getting a second release.
So I really feel like I need to give it a shot, like a true, give it the good old college try. How people
Right.
say.
Exactly. So let's see how far we can get with that college try.
So yeah, so let's move on from this into more rumors, which is probably the biggest rumor this week.
More NX rumors.
Nope. Well, you're half right. It's
Half right.
about yes, it was about Smash Bros for the NX.
Oh, yes, I did hear this rumor. So, oh man, this is the big one because Namco Bandai is all over the NX. I'm hearing that Namco Bandai is very supportive of this. So, here's the big question to everybody, including yourself, obviously. Is it going to be a port from the previous game, or is it going to be a new one?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's my thoughts on that. It's not gonna be a new one. I'm just gonna be frank. It's not going to be a new one. I don't know why people would think it's a new game when Smash Brothers for Wii U and 3DS took like 5 years to develop.
And remember, me and you talked about this earlier, right? It's that if a Smash Brother did come out for the NX, I think we talked about it on episode 1. It's more than likely going to be a port.
Mm-hmm.
And because if it was a new one, just like you said, it takes a while to develop a game like this.
Yes.
It's not something that you could just come up with after doing Super Smash Brothers for the Wii U and 3DS. But with that being said, the only thing that I can imagine is if we do get a new Super Smash Brothers game for the NX, or excuse me, if we get a port from the for Super Smash Brothers, it's going to have its own content for the NX, something exclusive. That way, it entices you to rebuy that game once again.
Well, actually, I've been thinking about that. Actually, the first thought is obviously that it's going to have all the DLC.
Right, already included, I would say. Correct.
Yes, that would be the
Yes.
logical step.
Absolutely.
There's another point that came to mind, which was new characters, but I don't think that's very likely.
Why is that?
Well, not a lot of people have been thinking about this, but the reason Ice Climbers were not in Smash, like for 3DS and Wii U,
Right.
is because Sakurai didn't want one version to have something over the other. Like every version can have like everything that's going to be released, like DLC and stuff.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. You're right. That's exactly why he said it. Because the Ice Climbers were not something that would be supported very well on the 3DS, he decided to skip out on them altogether. So, yeah, very interesting observation. I don't know now that you threw that wrench into my thought process.
So, because I feel like people will feel a little. I mean, this is gonna sound dumb, but there's people who might feel a little betrayed by that.
Yeah, I see that happen. But, I mean, there's been situations where even if you feel betrayed, I can't think of any examples right now, but I'm sure there's games out there where it'll come out for a previous console and then it'll come out for the next console, and it'll have a feature or another key item or something to that nature to where you couldn't find on the previous predecessor game.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is just my thoughts, obviously.
Sure, obviously, yeah, correct. So we'll see though. I mean, that's very interesting news. Very interesting news.
Yeah, but you know, there's one thing that I'm sure it's not going to be.
What's that?
It's not going to be Melee HD.
No, absolutely not.
I know some people want it, but
Everybody wants that. Yeah, they want to go back to the Melee roots, and sorry guys, that's more than likely not gonna happen.
yeah. I mean, at least you guys still have Melee.
Yeah, it's still there.
So, in the last bit of news, actually, it's something that came out of nowhere, and that
Right.
will be the Detective Pikachu game.
That is the strangest thing. It's like you said, it came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't even know where this came from.
Well, actually, it was originally presented back in 2012-13. They were showing motion capture done by a person that's showing a Pikachu moving its mouth.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
Right. Yes, I do.
And I remember they actually said it was gonna be a detective game. So, but honestly, I thought that was gonna be dead by now.
Right. Yeah, and it just all of a sudden came out of the woodworks again because how long ago was that, by the way?
I know it's been years now.
It has, and it just came out of nowhere. But that was very interesting news just to see that. But what do you think? This is going to be a good game, or because you like these types of games? Is that correct?
Well, honestly, I have no idea what. So I watched the video. I yet to watch the translation.
Right.
Game Explained released a video showing the translation, but I haven't watched it yet. I keep forgetting to. But other than that, I think it's just narration. There hasn't really been anything pertaining to the gameplay.
Yeah, that's true. No really gameplay. And I know it's funny for me to say this, but there's fans out there petitioning to have Danny DeVito voice the English version of Pikachu. Did you hear about that?
Yes, I actually heard about that. I am 100% in on that.
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good idea for a Detective Pikachu, given that he's obviously speaking the native language. So that's very interesting, and I really do think that Danny DeVito should voice Detective Pikachu.
Honestly, it would only be because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it would be. Oh my god, it would be incredibly hilarious. But yeah, if that happened, I think I would just buy it just so I can see his voice over Pikachu's face. So that would be really fun to see.
Yes, that would be great. So the funniest thing about this, the game is going to come out very, very soon in Japan.
February 3rd?
I don't remember, but it's very, very soon, to the point that it came as a surprise that they released a trailer.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, it is February 3rd.
Yep. And so
wow.
very soon we're going to see what the game is about.
Yeah, so I'm sure that we're going to see a lot of videos online soon about this, but what do you think? Do you think this is going to get a Western release?
Oh, for sure. It's a Pokemon game.
That's true. Yeah. So what date do you think?
Well, since they kept this like very, very hush hush, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be soon enough. I'm pretty sure actually they already have a voice actor for that Pikachu. So, and I don't think we're getting the video.
Right, I don't think so, but I mean it's good to dream and nice to dream sometimes, right? But yeah, I'm sure we'll get a release here soon as well. Just because, like you said, this came out of nowhere for Japan, so I wouldn't be too surprised if it just comes out of nowhere for the U.S. as well.
Yeah, well, yep, we'll see let me see what happens. Hopefully it does. I really want to see what that is all about.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a very interesting game, new concept, new play mechanics, obviously for the Pokemon franchise. Which it's speaking of, I think it's something that we're going to talk about today, isn't it?
Yes, but actually, before we move on, that is going to be the topic. But by the way, I want to mention something. It's kind of a big surprise news. You know what Evo is, right?
Yes, I do.
See, just very recently, around 3 days ago now. From today, it's Friday, so the release of like the list of games that are gonna be played on Evo. So games like the upcoming Street Fighter V, games like Guilty Gear, Tekken. There's also like Smash Bros. Melee and Wii U, which are both on it. But the very surprising addition, it's Pokémon Tournament.
Yeah, so now the game has become a little bit more official. But yes, you're right. They have, just like you said, Street Fighter, Smash Brothers, Melee and Wii U, Mortal Kombat, Guilty Gear, Killer Instinct, and Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Tekken 7, and just like you said, the new addition, which surprised everybody, is Pokken. So, what do you think about that?
I wonder how it'll go.
It's going to be very interesting, just because, I mean, the game that I'm aware of right now has been out in Japan, right? Is it out yet in Japan, or has been out for a while, right?
I think it's only arcades. I'm not sure.
Right, exactly. You're right, in arcade versions, but So that's gonna mean that there's a lot of tenure or seasoned players already. So as soon as it gets that Wii U release, I'm sure we're gonna hear and see that game a lot more. And I know you're very, very, very excited for this game. Is that correct?
I am. Well, for the most part, I hope that we can use a normal controller on it. Because there's been rumors that you only first player can use the gamepad. I really hope that's not true.
Ooh, yeah, that would be bad. I wouldn't. I already am turned off by the game as it is. But if something like that happens, I'm already not even gonna try it.
Like, there's also the thing that only like first player just has to use the gamepad to play two players.
Oh,
That
wow.
would be horrible. Like
That would be bad.
Like that would automatically turn me off it.
Yeah, that would be really, really bad. I hope that's not the case.
So I just hope it's not the case, and I might get it. If it doesn't turn out that way, I'm gonna have to say no to it.
Yeah, did you already pre-order it?
I
I
haven't.
think I already asked you. Oh, you haven't. Okay. Yeah, man, that's gonna be bad if it's like that. But there's no solid news on that yet, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, we'll see. But for now, we're gonna take just a little break, and we'll be right back with the topic.
We'll be right back, people.
So, today's topic, Pokemon. Not anything specific, but just Pokemon in general. Though, if we had to start talking about Pokemon, we had to start with the very first thing, which is Gen 1, which is the Pokemon Red, Pokemon Yellow, and Pokemon Blue. Which, they're really old games by now, 15 years ago. Mm-hmm. So, what have been your experiences with them, Eric?
Well, my first game was Pokemon Red. That's where I first started off playing the first video game series. The only reason I got Red is because my neighbor got Blue. So as you can imagine, the big thing back there was that there was Pokemon exclusives for each of the games, and you wanted to trade them with one another, right? So what better way to go ahead and trade Pokemon but with your neighbor, especially if he's right next door. But yeah, man, it was such a great experience with that game. I love it, and it's very dear to my heart just because it is one of the first Pokemon games I ever played with. But what was yours? What was your first version?
Well, before I start, I'm going to talk a bit about this. My experience with Pokemon always came later. Mm-hmm. So I was always off the boat on whatever gem was on at the moment. Mm-hmm. At least until very recently. So I was kind of a person who played Pokemon for the solo experience.
Okay.
So kind of want to offer my own view on that with Pokemon. Mm-hmm. So my first game was Pokemon Yellow, actually.
Oh wow. Okay, that's actually a good game to start off with, just because being that I grew up a little bit poor, I wasn't able to go ahead and afford that. So really, Pokemon Red was my one game that I got that one year, right? So Pokemon Red. So Pokemon Yellow was pretty cool back then, just because you had Pikachu following you around.
Mm-hmm. So the thing about that game, well, again, since it was my first Pokemon game. I'm pretty sure you did too, but I did a lot of things wrong, like a lot.
Oh yeah, we were young, man. Back then, we
I
didn't
know.
know what we were doing.
I mean, I remember selling my Moonstones. I remember using my Master Ball on. I think I used it in Abra.
Oh, no way.
And I remember accidentally making my Pikachu forget Thunder and teaching it Payday.
Oh, that's horrible. Ouch, man, you're hurting me right now.
And I got it to level 100 too.
Right. Oh, well, back then, man, that was when you can just play and play and play and play and just. I remember I got my whole entire team to level 100. Now these days, I don't even get that far.
No.
I get to maybe level 70.
I think in my whole lifetime with Pokemon, I got in around 7 Pokemon to level 100 total.
Yeah, I think I got about 10 or 20, somewhere in that neighborhood. Man, I played that game. I played it so much. But no offense, but unlike you, I'm a hoarder when it comes down to stuff like that. So I never wanted to sell or, sell anything unless it said, like the Nugget sells at a high price. So I sold it. But other stuff I held on to and never even touched it. And then sure enough, I never even used my Master Ball as an example when I was trying to catch Mewtwo in the cave in fear of, a more powerful Pokemon being out there.
So you never even used it.
No, I never used it.
So here's the thing. So I sold those Moonstones for 0 Poke. Like, it was literally 0. Like, when you sold them, they didn't give you any money. I guess that was the way to show that this is an important item. You should not be selling it.
Yeah, keep it. Hold on to it as much as you can. Right.
I'm pretty sure you could sell your bike if you tried.
No, I tried it. I remember.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
oh, man. They should have done it with the Moonstones.
The only reason I tried is because I said, well, I don't need it. I can fly now. I can surf. Let's go ahead and try to sell it. So I did, because I remember the bike salesman. He says, I'll sell you a bike for 1 billion or however much he says. But no, it doesn't work, unfortunately. He says it's because it's one of those key items that you can't sell.
Yep, this game was really weird, honestly, when thinking about it right now. Like, I really went back to play it because I still have my yellow version, actually.
Oh, cool. So I have my red version still, actually.
Well, again, it was my yellow version, which has no battery now.
It's dead. Mine's dead too.
Yeah, so I kind of went back to it, like, for, Thursday, like, just to play a little bit. And, well, I was instantly turned off from it. I mean, it's a very slow game. I mean, in terms of, like, how you move. Like, movement's just way too slow. Like, battles look way too simplistic. Again, it's a charming thing, like, if you like that kind of thing, but for me, it didn't age that well. Like, not to mention, like, types and all that. Psychic is overpowering, Gen 1.
Oh my god, it's overpowering. Absolutely it is. But, again, it was one of those things where Pokemon was just starting, so...
Yeah, it gets a free pass.
Yeah, it gets a pass. And, I mean, in my time, obviously the internet was not that well developed yet, so hearing rumors and trying out the rumors with that was the funniest thing ever. Trying to find a Mew that was located underneath the truck in, I forgot what city it was in, but it was by the SS Anne. And then trying to uncover Peekaboo by doing these stupid things. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
The funny thing is I never actually fell for those tricks.
I did, and I tried them several times, and none of them worked. But the only one that I loved that obviously did work was the missing no trick. That was the best thing I've ever done.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then to hear that other rumor on how to actually trigger a Mew battle.
That was I can
awesome.
talk about that actually.
Go for it, man, because I don't remember how that even entailed, but I remember doing it, and it was awesome.
Well, here's the thing. I do not remember the process itself. I don't remember bake, but the thing is I actually did it. I actually did the trick, and I got my Mew.
Oh, man. So I did the trick, too, and I got my Mew, and I was so happy about it. I was so excited.
Oh, so you did do it?
Oh, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I was able to do it just because, if I'm not mistaken, it goes with the missing no trick as well. So when I figured out missing no and I was able to... make infinite rare candies, dude, I was in heaven. I love it.
Well, it's a little bit different. I think. What method did you use?
For the missing no?
No, for Mew.
For Mew, I think it had something to do where I ran away from a battle right before I was approached. And then I had to go into that same spot after saving or hitting the select button or something like that. And then something like that, right?
Okay, yeah. And then you go to Lavender Town and exit left, and Mew suddenly
Yeah,
appears.
something like that, exactly.
So yeah, that's how I got my Mew, and I was happy with it. And then I just moved on because guess what happened next?
What's that?
Gen 2 happens next,
Oh, yeah.
which is Gold, Silver, and Crystal.
All right, so which one did you grab out of those?
I actually had Silver.
I had gold.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the one that I made my younger siblings buy so I can make sure I traded Pokemon with them. But yeah, this was another very fun game just because, again, it's me being that young and then a new Pokemon game coming out. Everybody was so excited that there's this whole new generation of Pokemon and new I think this is the one that had what did they introduce to this game?
Okay, so they introduced the running shoes for one.
Right.
Oh no, wait, I think that was only Crystal actually.
Was it really?
I do not remember. I'm thinking it was that. Well, they also introduced the day and night cycle.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that was the key feature, the day and night cycle that actually used real time. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah. And just made your battery run out faster.
Exactly. And I think it had berries, didn't it? This
yes,
is the game that introduced berries.
And
berries is another one. Mm-hmm.
And the apricot, which were the things to make Pokeballs.
Yes, that's true too. So you can make different types, like I think this one had the dark ball and the water and all that, right?
Yeah, netball, like stuff like that.
Yeah. So is this the one where they introduced you were able to finally choose a female playable character, or was that Crystal?
No, that was Crystal.
That was Crystal. Okay.
So yeah,
I think I remember that too, and I think that one of my younger sisters picked up just because it had introduced a female playable character.
To be fair, Crystal is the best version. It's also in color, like in actual color, the whole thing.
It is. The whole game is in actual color. But so here is my favorite part of this game.
Mm-hmm.
What I loved is that I had the opportunity to go from Johto to Kanto. I was so happy about that. So happy.
Yeah, so was I actually. It was a strange thing when I did it. Like I didn't actually know you could do that for a while.
Really?
Yeah, so it was actually a month later when I figured it out. Again, I was really young, and I really didn't have internet back then. So when I figured it out and I went, I was very happy.
The way I figured it is, after beating the Elite Four, I noticed that there was a trail that still let me go further right, and I was like,
yeah, you're right.
What's over here? So that's how I discovered it, because once I beat it, I still go around looking for any stuff that I missed, and sure enough, I ended up in Kanto, and I'm like, whoa, is this really happening right now? Am I able to go ahead and start fighting the gym leaders from Kanto? Oh my god. And then obviously the most epic battle towards the end where you get to fight Red. Yeah. That was intense, man. It blew me away. I love that.
Yeah, actually, I still remember. It took me a while to beat in again because you had Pokemon that were in level 80s. Well, 7 days, and then that Pikachu, which was level 81, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So he was still want to beat. I mean, I wish the other Pokemon games, they didn't have a region like this, but more characters from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you can't go to another area like Kanto, Johto, or whatever. Just having those super bosses come back would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. I mean, if they can create a game like that, obviously I would be all over it. But eventually, I think they might do something like that.
Whenever they finish doing the season, like the gens, which I don't think is going to happen anytime soon.
Unfortunately not. No, we're not going to see anything to that.
But is there anything else you like from those games? Like, what else?
So aside from games, obviously one thing that I grew up with, this is how it all started with Pokemon, is the Pokemon trading card game. So I did end up picking up a lot of cards. In order for me to make money to buy these cards, I actually ended up selling newspapers. So I remember I was 12 when I started selling newspapers at my local grocery store, and using all of that money towards Pokemon cards.
Oh man,
I just blew my money just like that, man. But yeah, it was great. I had a huge binder, which I still cannot find to this day.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's in the garage somewhere, or it's in my parents' house still, but I'm sure it's there, and I'm sure it's there with all of the cards that I bought when I was young.
Reminds me of my whole pack that I have with all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which I have from back to 12 years ago, I think.
Oh wow, yeah, no, I lost those too. But yeah, aside from that, obviously the movies were great. The TV show, coming home from school and going straight to to go watch TV and watching the series, and then being able to say, hey, look, I got that Pokemon. Stupid Ash won't catch anything, so I'll go catch it. But yeah, man, it was great. I love Pokemon. Pokemon's very dear to me.
Yeah, well, it was great back then. Man, remember back then when Pokemon Go was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now these days I haven't watched any of the anime series at all, to be honest with you, at all.
So I'll get to that in a bit, but so I kind of went to that kind of with that attitude because Gen 3 was the one which people were starting to fall off Pokemon.
Yeah, I am gonna go ahead and agree with you on that. What was that? Ruby and Sapphire, right?
Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Yes.
And Emerald, right? So, Ruby. That's what I picked up. What about you?
I also picked Ruby.
You picked Ruby on that one.
And Emerald.
Oh, and Emerald.
So I actually picked both copies. Yes.
I never picked up Emerald. I just picked up Ruby, but yeah, I kind of started falling off. I did get it, and I did play it to completion on that one. And I don't mean 100% completion to where I caught everything, but I did play it, and then I was pretty excited when they introduced the system where you can transfer your Pokemon from the previous games over to this one. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I did pick up this game. I did enjoy it, but I started falling off that Pokemon bandwagon a little bit at that point.
So here's the thing. This is the one which really hooked me in.
To the whole series?
Yes.
Awesome.
In contrast to you, it was mostly because the whole game, it was just beautiful. Like when you compare it to the older versions, it was just like night to day. Everything looked great. Like the Pokemon more closely resembled their versions in the anime, for example.
I think these ones moved, didn't they? Or was that
that was only Emerald, I think.
Ah, gotcha.
They had like very slight animations, but
Yes.
like just everything. I love the music. I just love everything about it. Like I know there's a lot of water in this, and trust me, there is a lot of water.
Yeah, but that gives it that Sapphire feeling, right? That's for this. Yeah, it gives it for the Sapphire feeling. Then there's a lot of terrain too, as well.
Yeah.
If you ask me. So yeah, I think it was really well made. Like I said, I still didn't fall off too much off the bandwagon at that point, but I love the game.
So that actually reminded me. I should have started this with the first gen, but what's your favorite Pokemon from Gen 1?
Gen 1? I mean, back then, dude, Charizard. That was the rarest card. That was the big Pokemon, the one that you need to have. And obviously, when you figure out towards the end of the game that there's Mewtwo, then that becomes your favorite Pokemon all of a sudden. But Charizard was always my favorite.
Mine would be Dratini.
Dratini,
Yes,
awesome.
I always like the slender like Pokemon.
Right.
What about?
I thought that
sorry?
was pretty cool. No, I was gonna say that I thought that was a good one too.
Okay. So how about Gen 2?
Gen 2, I would say Gen 2, I really liked Ho-Oh in that one. That was one of my favorite ones.
Wow.
Just because when I figured out Ho-Oh was actually in one of the very first Pokemon episodes, I was like, wow, that was that one from that
Yeah,
episode.
that was crazy.
Right?
So my Pokemon is actually Tyrog.
Oh, Tyrog is cool. I like Tyrog. Yeah.
Like they use the capoeira style of fighting, like it spins like a top.
Yeah, Tyrog tripped me out just because that was all of a sudden you're like, wait, Tyrog evolves into wait, what? And there's another
Oh
one
wait,
that
no,
goes
hold on,
into
it's not Tyrog. It's actually thinking Hitmontop. I got confused.
Oh, Hitmontop. Well, yeah, Hitmontop. I mean, just for him to be introduced as another fighting Pokemon that goes along with Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, I thought that was cool.
Like it would be him or Slowking.
Slowking, I like Slowking. He's funny. He's just
Oh.
goofy. That's why I like him.
I just love that outfit he gets.
Right.
And moving on to Gen 3 again, what's your favorite Pokemon?
From Gen 3, I would say again, I pretty much sound probably stupid for saying mostly legendaries, but I picked Ruby for a reason. That's because
Groudon?
I like Groudon. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Groudon is awesome. I like Groudon.
And well, honestly, my favorite Pokemon in Gen 3 and generally for all Pokemon will be Gardevoir.
Oh, that's where. Yeah, I forgot that's where that Pokemon was introduced. That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just love like I said before with Dratini, I was looking for like it looks so graceful.
Yeah.
I just like that in Pokemon.
I think that's cool. Yeah, that's another really good one. So, did you ever like Blossom?
What?
Blossom, is that one of your other favorites as well? Since it's that great, I consider that one to be another one of those graceful ones.
Well, that one is mostly cute, because like it's really tiny. It has flowers on its head. I was really
Oh, that's a very tiny one.
yeah, I wasn't really a big fan, mostly because I never had a Sunstone whenever I got a Gloom.
Right, that's true.
I never evolved in the Bellossom, so I never became a fan.
Right.
So you know, just timing, horrible timing with Proclaim. It just made me bold to Biplum and just stink it up everywhere.
Right. That's true.
So you said you never play Emerald, right?
No, I didn't play Emerald that I'm aware of.
So
I probably didn't. I just can't remember.
So here's the thing, and about Emerald, which is that it introduced the Battle Frontier, which had like 7 completely new leaders. Which like you had to go through different challenges, and at the end you fight a leader and you get a medal.
Yeah, I do remember that. What was it called? Was it Battle Tower?
It's well, actually, that was Battle Tower in the first Ruby and Sapphire.
Oh, okay, okay.
But Battle Frontier is literally Battle Tower. Battle.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right?
Battle Pike. No, it was a huge area. Like the Battle Tower was part of it, but there was a huge, like the Battle Dojo, the Battle Pike.
Oh wow.
Like the Battle Pyramid. Like if you can, you really need to check out Pokemon Emerald and beat the game.
I think I do, because yeah, I haven't played. I don't remember any of that, so that obviously leads me to believe that I haven't played it.
Like honestly, I was never able to finish that. I got 3 of the medals actually.
Oh wow.
Well,
it was because it's difficult, or
it's because this is one of those things that Nintendo likes to add. Well, Game Freak likes to add, which you have to save the game before continuing. So you go in, and if you lose, you're automatically out.
Oh my god.
You also, yeah, you don't have your items and anything like that.
Oh no.
So it's like kind of challenge, and then at the end you find a character you have to fight, and then you get this completely new track, which is a remix of the Battle Frontier theme. Which is my favorite track in the whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah, just because I got to the end. I'm probably gonna have that track playing in the background as I'm talking about this.
That's fine by me.
Because, oh man. Well, the Battle Frontier specifically is the main reason why I just love Gen 3 so much. I don't know. So, speaking of, what is your favorite gem?
My favorite is, believe it or not, I think it's going to be the second. Second gen is my favorite just because it took me from that first gen experience and it made it better, in my personal opinion.
Yeah,
so, yeah, I love Gen 2. That's my favorite generation.
It's fine. It's fine, man. Like, a lot of people love Gen 2 for that reason, and it's a good reason.
How about yourself?
Well, I did tell you that. I think I said Gen 3.
Oh, yeah, you did say that.
Actually, Gen 3 is tied with another gen. But I'll get to that when I get to it. Because for now, let's move on to Gen 4.
Gen 4, what was that?
Diamond,
Black and White?
Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. So, as you can see, you didn't remember the names of this.
So it was Diamond and Pearl?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Diamond and Pearl, you know what's funny is that I can't remember much about this game.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it. It's a very, I don't want to say it's forgettable, but I just feel like it's the one that's between the both. Because like Ruby and Sapphire, I don't really that remember. Like people didn't really like it, but since it was a transition period, people just dropped off Pokemon and just moved on. And then Gen 5 happened, and people started hating it because it was completely different. So I think that's the main reason why people don't really talk too much about Gen 4.
Yeah, you're right. Because to be honest with you, I'm actually having to look it up right now because I can't remember anything about this game.
I remember a few things. In fact, this is the game I played the most, like the second most.
Really?
Yes, I think I play around 300 hours.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah, you got some good gameplay out of it.
Yeah, I got 100 hours out of Platinum because I got Diamond and Platinum. I started getting both games because I was finally able to afford.
Yeah, I'm reading up on it, and I do remember it, but it's this is where they finally introduced the Wi-Fi features, right?
Yes, which was probably the best thing they could have added.
Absolutely. So I think I'm remembering just because of that, because I remember how excited I was to actually be able to trade with people across the world instead of just, having to be tethered to a cable.
So yeah, like this included a lot of new things. Like it had the return of the day-night cycle. The introduction, the introduction of secret bases underground, which the previous game actually started with first, but then introduced like mini games with it, with the. I think it was the underground. I think it was called.
Right, the underground, a large area used for wireless multiplayer gaming.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was actually kind of fun.
Yeah, just because it actually, now that you mention it, I remember this when I got this game. I had started a job, and it was a big call center, and I remember bringing it in, and I was playing it in the call center, and it was funny because I was underground, and all of a sudden someone pops into the underground base. I was like, whoa! This is my first experience with it, and I, to this day, I never found out who that was. But every once in a while, I would bring it to work, and I would bump into that person underground, not knowing who in this call center was playing the same game at the same time as myself.
Well, there goes one friend.
Yeah, there goes one friend that I could have probably been playing other games with. But if I remember correctly, this game also had voice chat during trades or battles. Is that right?
It was kind of weird on that end.
Yeah, it was. I remember just because at this point I also had my own apartment, and my sister was at home, and she picked up the game too. So I would play with her, and we would be able to chat through this. So that was pretty fun.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right. I remember that. I think I did do that a few times.
Yeah, I did it only a few times with. Usually it was my sister that I ended up playing with.
That's it. So, like, another few features that I'm trying to recall again. So, because I'm trying to. I guess it was the story in a way. It's what the story is starting to improve a little bit more. Instead of having like this team that. Well, he also had a team who was trying to destroy the world and whatever.
Of course.
But it introduced like a character that was very different to every other. Like, there's this guy who just wanted everything to die. Like everything, like he trying to change the past, the future, like change time, space, and then in Pokemon Platinum he tried to just erase the world with the help of Giratina and the Distortion World. Did you ever get Platinum?
I did actually. I remember I did pick that one up. Yes.
So, and like the interesting thing about that, you went to the Distortion World, and there was this really weird place like that didn't work by the laws, natural laws, and you had to walk through walls, I think.
Yes.
I actually wish they brought back a little bit of that.
Yeah, I thought that was freaking awesome, man. When I first ran into that area, I thought it was great.
Yeah, but honestly, other than that, nothing really comes to mind. Like, I like some of the areas, like they feel a little bit more different. I remember there were swamps around forested areas, but Gen 3 had some of that as well. So
yeah, what I liked about this game is, if you recall, I've been carrying, when I first started with my Gen 1, I had been carrying some of those same Pokemon, like Charizard, my original Charizard. I was carrying it from Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3. And then when I heard that you could do the ballpark and bring migrate Pokemon from the Game Boy Advance games,
yeah.
I was so happy when they said that. And with that being said, I mean, it would interact with other games like Pokemon Ranger and Pokemon Battle Revolution, to where you could get the Manaphy egg or the Riolu from Ranger, Pokemon Ranger, and bring it over to Diamond and Pearl. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that was the only reason I got Pokemon Ranger, to be honest.
Right. Exactly. I agree.
So, like, yeah, you reminded me, actually. I got 3 of my Pokemon, actually. I got my Blaziken, my Pelipper, and my Minun, which were all level 100 because I didn't know crap about Pokemon, like even to this day I don't know crap about Pokemon, like in the competitive scene.
Yeah, like EV training and all that. Yeah,
I was never.
I'm not good at it either. I understand it, but it's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it just takes too long for my taste.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not too handsome. Well, other than that, what's your favorite Pokemon from Gen 4, if you can remember any? Let's see what.
From Gen 4, no, I don't remember. Blaziken, I think. No, wait, that's not from Gen 4.
That's Gen 3, man.
Yeah, that's Gen 3. What was Gen 4 with? Torchic? No, that was Gen 2.
No, that was Chimchar.
Chimchar! Yeah, that was Chimchar.
By the way, Torchic was Gen 3.
Torchic was 10. Okay, so I'm getting my gens messed up right now. No, I
you
can't
mean
say that I...
Okay, sorry, what?
No, go ahead.
So, I'm guessing you were trying to look for Infernape?
Yeah, but I was not that excited with Infernape, actually, now that you mentioned it. Yeah, I don't know this one. This one, I really didn't have a favorite one. I did like Darkrai, but Darkrai was not also that one.
That was this gem, actually. Yes, Gem 4.
Was it? Yes. Okay, so Darkrai is going to be this one. I'm going to go with that one. I'm sticking with it.
Okay, good. So, I mean, there are such options like Lucario and Garchomp and Weavile and stuff like that. But, honestly, my option would have been Glade, again, because it's basically another form of Gardevoir.
Right.
But I actually got to stick with Luxray.
Ooh, Luxray. Yeah, Luxray's cool. I like Luxray.
I know, just something of this mouse-like Pokemon, which isn't really a mouse. It just looks like this 4-legged creature, just has like really cool hair. I don't know. I love this Pokemon. I still have it on my team from the newer games. Every time I find one, I always get it.
Oh, cool.
And he got a Mega Evolution, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So from here we move to the, well, I think was most polarizing gem of an all, which was Gem 5. Which is what I can go in and say, this is my second, like this is tied for favorite gens with Gen 3. This is the one gen that like changed a bit in terms of game.
Right.
Like this is the one that introduced a completely new Pokemon. Introduced the addition of different seasons, monthly. Introduced a better story. I'm not gonna say it was a great story, but it's something better. It focused more on like on how one treats Pokemon, something that Pokemon had never tackled before, and it was something that was very apparent.
Right.
So, just stuff like that, and again, just the fact that it was just completely new Pokemon, not old ones until after on the post game.
Right.
So, what about you, man? What was your favorite thing about Gen 5?
And Gen 5, just to make sure we're on the same page, we're talking about Black and White. Is that right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't mention. It's Black, White, and well, Black 1, Black 2, Black, White 2.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, you're right. What I liked about it, first of all, we're going to be talking about the same ones because it is the same gen. I liked how Black 2 and White 2 introduced the same world map but added locations and various changes over the 2 years. Basically, you went from something that happened in Black and White and it continued to Black and White 2. So I thought that was great.
Yes.
I mean, you've never seen that happen with a Pokemon game besides the first gen and second gen. But, God only knows how long it was after the whole battles with Gen 1. But, yeah, I thought that was cool how it continued on like that. That was my favorite part of that game.
Yes, and I'm going to be honest, like, Black 2 and White 2 are my favorite games in the whole series.
They're pretty rare right now, too. People still buying those for a lot of money because those did so well, and those are some of the favorite gens out there.
Yes, I love those games. Like, they may not be best on the story side, but I don't really care because everything else was just great. Like,
I thought it had a good story. I liked it.
Well, I mean, it just went back to the simple thing.
Yeah, it went back to just being a simple, awesome, fun story. Nothing too crazy or too complicated.
Well, honestly, I like the complicated bits with Anne. Like, I like that there was this anti-hero character who didn't know if what he was doing was right or not. He
reminded me of was a PETA. That's who he reminded me of.
Well, everything, like, the whole thing is about PETA, but the thing is, he was a nice guy. He wasn't trying to take other people's Pokemon away. He was trying to see how people were treating other Pokemon. He thought the way people treated them was bad, which, again, I just like his inclusion, like something different. Which, as I said before, it's just something that Pokemon really hasn't tackled before.
That's true. And this is the game that did go ahead and introduce triple battles as well and rotation battles.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that, because Gen 3 introduced double battles. Gen 4 introduced, like, the online capabilities. And Gen 5
that's right.
not only introduced, like, those battles and rotation battles.
And this is one of those ones that also included the, what do you call that? The Sea Gear, I think is what it was called. That replaces the Pokedeck from Tech from Diamond and Pearl.
Sea Gear. Yes, yes. It was the gear that allowed you to use like your thing as a cell phone. Yes.
Yeah, it was like a video chat and the access to the Intro Link to transfer Pokemon from the Dream World, which was very cool.
Yeah.
I used the Dream World a lot on that one, to be honest with you, just so I can bring Pokemon from the Dream World to this game. I thought that was fun.
I never even have internet, so I never managed to do that.
Oh, you never do? Yeah, dude, it was awesome just because you would get to bring some Pokemon with exclusive, moves that weren't available in the original game like that.
Yeah, so it was just a great jam. And then, well, the first versions didn't have a lot of post game. The second versions had some of the best post game ever in any generation.
Absolutely.
Like, just the introduction of the World Championship alone made the game.
Yep.
I love that thing.
Yeah, that was awesome, dude. So I would agree with you. I think my favorite gen was this obviously second generation, but this would be and the reason I'm going to choose Pokemon White 2 or Pokemon Black 2 is because of how it did continue from the first one. So I would say Pokemon White 2 and Black 2 would be my second favorite gen.
Well, that's fine. Again, because those are my favorite Pokemon games. So yeah.
That's why I picked that one. Those two. Yeah, it was awesome, dude.
So, in terms of Pokemon, which is your favorite Pokemon in Gen 5?
In Gen, excuse me, in Gen 5, I guess I would say, sorry if I butchered the name, but is Zircom, I think is how I'm gonna say it.
Wait, what?
Zircom?
What does he look? Oh, Zekrom.
Zekrom.
Okay,
I
so the legendary Pokemon.
Yes. Zekrom was one of my favorite ones. I just like the look on and the style of that Pokemon, so that was my favorite one. But if I had to pick a second one, I would have to say Zoroark. Is that how you say it?
Zoroark?
Zoroark? I don't know. Whatever. That one. That was be my second one.
I guess because they were trying to make it similar to Zoro, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. That would make sense, right?
Okay, so that's your favorite one.
Those are my favorite too. Yes.
Well, honestly, at first I was gonna pick like my favorite Pokemon would be Breviary. I mean, I just love it, especially for all the jokes about America with that Pokemon.
Right.
And again, because this game is based in the States. Like the previous games were based in like around the prefectures of Japan, but this game was based in North America. Like
right, exactly.
Yeah, because we didn't mention this much, but they introduced a lot of things like dynamic camera angles, for example, which made the game like look so much better than it.
Right.
So yeah, this game was just beautiful in terms of Nintendo DS games.
Yeah.
So actually, but my favorite Pokemon would be, I don't remember its name. Again, as much as I love this gen, I do not remember much of the names. Oh man, I would choose. Oh man.
Put yourself on the spot here.
Yes, I put myself on the spot. I do not remember the name. I'm trying to look it up in the Pokédex. Pokédex, don't let me down. You know what? I'm just gonna go for Breviary and move on and pretend this never happened. Thank you so very much. So let's move on to.
Nothing happened.
No.
Anyways.
Okay, Excadrill. There you go.
Excadrill. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the reason is because I got a shiny Excadrill on my first playthrough.
Speaking of, let's talk about that real quick. What was your first shiny Pokemon? Do you remember that far back?
It was a Sylvet.
Mine was a Floatzel. Is that how you say it? Floatzel? The one with the...
Floatzel?
The one with the... Yeah.
Yes.
The water one? That was my first
okay,
one.
here's the thing. I got a Chinese Sylvet, but I got it in a borrowed copy of a friend's thing. And I never felt like taking it from him because it was his game.
Yeah.
So I never kept the Sylvet.
So
yeah,
that was my favorite one. And I didn't know what it was after. Oh, you know what? I lied. Gen 2, it was a Hoot Hoot.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
Oh, so a golden one. Like the one that wasn't... Okay.
I remember it just because I was like, I saw the shiny effect and I was just like, what the hell was that? You know, and I caught it, and after I caught it, the shiny effect would happen every single time you would release it from the Pokeball, and I was just like, what is this? Why is it doing this? And I just couldn't figure it out until later on down the road. I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's a rare Pokemon. Oh, go figure.
So like the funny thing about like the Drillbur and Excadrill, like when you evolve Drillbur, you get a pink Excadrill.
Right, you're right.
So actually, my first real shiny Pokemon was Excadrill. So I have a very, you know, it's a very more emotional thing. Like, I just feel like it's my favorite just because it was my first shiny.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on quickly to the final one, which is the Gen 6, the most current one, which it should be the easiest one to remember.
Pokemon X and Y.
Yes. So let's start with this. Like, what do you like about this?
Obviously, you know, it's a new 3D game. So they introduced something that hasn't been done with Pokemon, and I think a lot of people have been wanting to see it in Pokemon, is to actually go from that 2D style to a new 3D style. So for them to introduce something like that and make it work, I love that about it. It worked really well. I mean, and this was your first 3DS game that utilized Street Pass and Spot Pass, Wonder Trade, you know, all that good stuff. And I think I had a lot of fun with this game. I do like this game. So this would have to be my third pick.
Wait a minute. Oh, your third favorite?
Yeah, my third favorite, yes.
Actually, if I had to choose, this one's one of my least favorite Pokemon games.
Really?
Games. Yes, because there was actually things that I started noticing that was wrong with it. For example, when you were playing the game, the pace was really weird. you beat the first gym and then like you went hours and hours just going through like, to the field and then you reach the second gym.
Oh gosh, I actually do remember that.
Yes, you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. I remember just going through and I'm like, wait, when am I gonna get to the second gym? Why am I doing all this and not getting to the second gym yet? You're right.
And then like you started getting gyms by the truckload.
Right?
Not to mention the game was even easier than the other ones. Like even without using that one item that was introduced, that you get experience with every Pokemon, which is
experience share all or something like that, right?
Just experience share, but you can turn it on and off.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it doesn't just work with one Pokemon.
Yeah.
It works with all of them. You're right.
Yeah, which just broke the game.
I hate
for
it.
one.
I didn't even use it. I just turned it off and I never used it.
I didn't use it either. But the thing is, like, even without using it, without grinding, your Pokemon are still like kind of over level.
Yeah. And I think the reason they're doing that is because, unfortunately, with Nintendo, most of their games these days have been targeted for the younger generation. And with that being said, unfortunately, they have these new systems where, like in Super Mario, if you die a certain amount of times, and all of a sudden you get this golden block that'll give you invincibility for the whole entire stage. I hate that. And when that happens, I just skip the whole block altogether. But I hate how games are getting so easy and too easy.
Well, I mean, again, the experience share, it's a good inclusion. I don't mind it. But just that the game itself was just too easy.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. With the experience share all on the set aside, I still don't like the fact that I was able to level up so easily, and I was able to just run over all these trainers and all these gym leaders with no problem at all. No, I mean, it was to the point where I didn't even have to use the rock, paper, scissors method, you know? It's like fire beats water, water beats fire. I was just grinding through everything without any problems.
So, also another problem was the optimization with this game. Like, I don't know if you ever noticed, but whenever you went in battle, like, everything seemed to slow down a bit.
Yeah, it did.
So that's another problem with this game.
It is. I felt like it was just like a PC trying to run a very, very, very high quality game on on a low quality computer. You know, it would start slowing down.
Yeah.
You're right. I would notice that too.
And the thing is that the 3DS has games that had such huge, like, have a lot going on, and they still manage to do it without dropping like frames, especially when it's mostly a static screen with just the Pokemon in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
They should use a bigger card for it.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah. So not much to talk about that one aside for the fact that, you know, it was a good new introduction to the 3D, but at the same time, just like you said, it had a lag.
It's a flawed game, and I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it for what it was.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie about that. So, but I suppose something else that I can say is it didn't have a lot of post game either.
No, it didn't. You're right. It didn't. Once you beat it, you were kind of almost done.
Yep. And the same problem like transfer to Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire actually.
Right. Exactly.
Which, by the way, we're gonna talk about all those additional games at the end. Like, we're gonna get real quickly about them. But before that, what's your favorite Gen 6 Pokemon?
Gen 6. Put me on the spot with that one again. Let me see if I can think of a good Gen 6 Pokemon here. Because again, this was a game I know that I just recently played. I mean, I haven't played it in a while, but I'm trying to avoid picking legendaries because every time I'm asked a question like that, the first thing that pops up is legendaries. But
there isn't that many Pokemon, so you shouldn't have too much of a hard time.
I'm sorry, what was that?
There's not that many new Pokemon introduced, so.
No, I guess it would be not Froakie, but Greninja. Greninja, I think I like the whole fact that, you know, it's a ninja that a frog that uses a scarf as a or his tongue as a scarf. I like, so Greninja would be my pick for this one.
Okay. Mine it's actually a type between Delphox, because I just love the idea that it's a witch, a fire witch. I just call my Fennec. I just made it female fox. Female Fennekin, so it will fit better, and I just call it Witchy.
Right.
But my other one would actually be, no freaking questions asked, freaking Hawlucha.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember that was your favorite one. I remember you telling me about it too.
Yes, it's a Mexican wrestler basically.
Exactly.
I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. I'm sure it's the favorite of many from Mexico too.
I'm pretty sure it has nothing to do with Mexico. Just the fact that it's a freaking luchador.
I think, personally speaking, because I mean, maybe not not during your times, but Lucha Libre was huge in my time, you know, and for him to be there, it was something that I would say that's another one of my favorites too. But not my number one pick, but I'd say it was maybe my third pick or something like that. But I like that one too.
You want to know the reason why this is my favorite Pokemon? Again?
What's that?
Flying Press.
Okay.
So do you know what that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the fact that I just see this Pokemon like who jumps in the air, just extends its wings and drops down.
Yeah, I think that's cool, man. It's like gives it that experience or that feel that he's jumping from the ropes down on someone, you know?
And it's a move that's also fighting and flying at the same time.
Exactly. No, I think that's awesome.
It's a very interesting Pokemon. So we're gonna move on a little bit. There's a few things we missed, obviously. Like certain is introduced something like Gen 2 introduced Dark and what other type was it?
Dark and I don't remember.
Crap! How did we forget the other type?
Steel.
There you go, Steel. Good.
Yeah.
Yes. And the Gen 6 introduced Fairy types.
Yes.
As well as Mega Evolutions, which is some of my favorites. I don't care what people say. I like
Mega Evolutions. I love it.
Yeah, I like Mega Gardevoir, okay? Even more majestic.
Even more.
Yeah. So, there are other games that we can quickly talk about, which is like the remakes, which is like Fire Red, Leaf Green. What do you think of those real fast?
I thought those were cool too. I mean, it still brought that same feel from the previous game. So yeah, I like them.
Yeah, same. Like they introduced new things like the CV Islands, which you just went to the different islands and did a lot of cool new stuff.
Yeah.
Then there's the other games, which is Hard Gold and Soul Silver. I got Soul Silver actually.
I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the only ones that I never picked up.
Okay, here's the thing. This is the game that people have said it's the definitive edition of any Pokemon game. So if you can manage like to get over like the fact that it's not like moving characters and whatever, you should pick it up.
I should. Yeah, this is the one game which, for whatever reason, I don't know why, I never picked up this game. I should pick up one of these.
It has a lot of post-game content. It's just a fun game.
And that's what I like. So yeah, I think that would be one that I pick up.
Yes. And finally, it's Pokemon like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which they were the biggest disappointments I ever had to go through.
Once again, dude, I agree with you 100% on this. I didn't finish these games. I did not finish it.
Again, it was fun, but I felt it didn't really add much to it.
No, not at all.
But,
I didn't finish it, man, and I thought it was gonna be great because it was Ruby, which was it was a pretty good game, even though I don't remember much of it. But introduced on this new 3D platform, I thought I was gonna have fun with it, but it was a disappointment. I was very disappointed.
Why was it a disappointment for you?
I don't know. I just didn't. Maybe because I mean the storyline was still there, right? But it was a whole different storyline altogether as well. But I don't know why, man. I just could not get into it. I was very, very bored of it, and I stopped playing it halfway through, I think.
Well, honestly, I could see it felt bland for some reason. Like, I did like some things that was included. Like, I like what they did to Mobile. They made it this more modern city, which fits more to what Mobile is, which is this city that it's controlled by this guy who is kind of a freak who uses electricity to, fuel everything.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the Delta episode, which is this episode which introduces this girl, and then the world's going to end because there's a meteor that's falling to the planet or something like that.
What was her name? Xenia or something like that?
I forget, honestly.
Yeah. I just didn't like it, man. I was not happy with that game whatsoever.
Yeah, I can see why. If there's anything like about that Delta episode, is that like it made sense of the remakes. Apparently, like the remake, it's like two different universes. It literally mentions it in the game. Well, not quite like very obviously,
right? But
it just says like, what if there was a world when there's no Mega Evolution and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like bits like that. Those are cool. Even there was some bits that didn't really bring much to it.
Which is funny, just to throw that ball out there before we go, but it's funny because that's what made the whole series believe that there's this universe that we're in is a parallel universe to a different one where Mega Evolution didn't exist.
Yeah, and I like that.
Because, yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
Deepest lore.
Yeah, exactly. But before we leave, just to throw some other games out there that I enjoyed when I was growing up, Pokemon trading card game. I thought that was a fun game.
Yes.
I played a few of the pinball games, but I wasn't too much into them. The mystery dungeon games I could not get into. The Ranger series either. I only played one of the Rumble games, and then obviously there was some of the console versions that I did love, like Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Stadium 2, Pokemon Snap. Didn't really get into XD Gale of Darkness that well, to be quite honest with you.
And
or Hey You Pikachu either.
well, that one sucked, so that's fine.
That was horrible. But
So,
yeah, there was a lot of games out there, man. A lot of Pokemon games that we didn't go over today.
yeah. So, and we might actually go over them maybe some other time when we can focus on the spin-off games to some degree.
And I'm hoping that by the time we do this next podcast, we have Pokemon Go. I want to play that game already.
So yeah, we'll probably focus like later down the line. So by that time, we'll probably play some of those games. So that'll be a good thing. But for now, we're going to have to sign off because it. So I want to finish this by saying, I mean, you all have a favorite gem. We all have a favorite gem. So just like let other people enjoy the new Pokemon. Just because you don't like certain kind of Pokemon doesn't mean like they suck.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I'll leave you with that thought, and see you guys next time.
We'll see you next time, guys.